What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day, because I know I am. And if you are having a fantastic day, then you need to smash that like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. You'll get 3 wishes. Yeah, that's right. I talked to a genie. Me and Aladdin booled out, rubbed a lamp together, which sounds really sus. And then I basically guaranteed that if you guys press the like button, you'll get 3 wishes. So smash it. Anyways, guys, as you can tell, today we got ourselves a little bit of a mom freakout story. This one's actually relatively recent, alright? It's from a couple weeks ago. Basically, you know, I was just grocery shopping, doing some adult things, and this mom had a full-blown panic attack and freaked out in the middle of the store. And as soon as it started happening, I just sat back and was like, ah, yeah, baby, we got some story time material. Which is probably not the best way to do it, you know, when somebody's having a panic attack, freaking out, like destroying everything inside of a store. You probably shouldn't be like, yo, this is sick, I could make a video. But I guess that's just how life is sometimes. And it wasn't actually like a panic attack, you know. I'm not making fun of her for having one of those. But it was one of those, this girl has very clearly never been told no before in her life. I don't know how you make it 35 years without rejection, but somehow she did. And when she got rejected, it was pretty rough. But regardless, I know you guys love stories about Karens just absolutely freaking out. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So buckle your seatbelts, because trust me, there's some mom managing moments that are about to come out in full force. And if you're not careful, then you might actually get a Karen showing up to your job within the next few days, and that's not fun for anybody. Now, something that adults have to do is grocery shopping, all right? And I'm not a giant fan of grocery shopping. I hate just having to walk around the store and do stuff, so usually I'll drag a friend or two with me just to make the experience a little bit more bearable. So when it comes to grocery shopping, usually I'll drag Grant and Cyrus to the store and basically force them to come with me and go shopping. And it's a pretty fun experience, you know, because you just get the boys together, start pushing shopping carts together. Next thing you know, you're racing down the halls of a Smith's or a grocery store with the manager chasing after you, Paul Blart Mall Cop style. Obviously, I'm kidding, okay? But regardless, I do usually take my friends grocery shopping with me, and we'll divide and conquer just to get out of there even faster. So we'll split the list up into 3 places. We'll send Cyrus one direction, me the other direction, and Grant the other direction, just to try to split things up and make things go a little bit faster. Because nothing is worse than when you're little and your mom's like, oh yes, let's go to the grocery store, honey, it'll only be a bit. And then they run into someone you know, and 18 hours later, you're still standing in Walmart. Survivor Man Bear Grylls himself is next to you saying, no, I've never seen anyone in a harder situation to survive. These mothers can take hours in a grocery store in order to talk to someone they haven't seen since high school. And I just hate that. So I've got like PTSD from my mother taking so long in grocery stores that I do everything I can to get out as quickly as possible. So shout out to you, Mom, for giving me traumatic experiences when I was a child, because spending any more time than absolutely necessary in a grocery store just makes me panic. At any point, I could get trapped here for days. And I mean, I guess if it's okay to get trapped anywhere, it's probably a grocery store, because at least then I have food to eat, you know? Like in a zombie apocalypse, Costco would be pretty slapping. But regardless, guys, we're in the store, and I've divided up amongst my friends, so I haven't seen Grant or Cyrus in a bit, and my phone starts going off, and I see that it's a FaceTime call from my friend Grant that I'm in the grocery store with. And I answer it and go, yo, what's up? Thinking it's just a question about like, yo, bro, they don't got this brand of potatoes. Do we get a different brand of potatoes? Like normal stuff that you FaceTime your boys about. I don't really FaceTime my boys about potatoes very often, but I didn't really know what else to say there. But hey, if you are somebody out there that FaceTimes the boys about potatoes, good for you for triple checking to make sure that the potato game is on fleek, because that's one of the most important things. People highly underestimate the strength of your potato game. There's times I've brought girls back to the house and they go, hey bro, those are some good potatoes. Next thing I know, everything's going great. So if you're out there and you want a tip, girls love some good potato game. And if you're a woman and you don't love good potato game, well then this is awkward. Regardless, I pick up the FaceTime call and Grant goes, yo, I'm over by the frozen section and you need to get over here now, because there is a mom going ballistic on some poor worker and it's hilarious. And I'm like, okay, I'm on my way stat. You see, we got a system, okay? Anytime anyone sees something crazy in the vicinity of me, they automatically call me and like let me know that something wild's going down so I can come witness it. Because, I don't know, I just love seeing crazy things. So as soon as Grant calls me and says there's a mom freaking out in the freezing section of the grocery store, I push my cart over there Mach 10. At one point, I'm pretty sure I stood on the back of my cart and Tokyo drifted down an entire aisle. There was white bread on one side, cereal on the other. I didn't even care. I was Tokyo drifting my shopping cart over to the mom freaking out as fast as humanly possible, because I'm not missing out on that, okay? That is some good quality story time content. And if I miss out on this mom freaking out, who knows how long it'll be before I see another Karen in the wild. Karens in the wild are a lot like a legendary Pokemon, you know? You only get one chance to encounter them, so you've got to use your Master Ball carefully. So as I get closer to the freezer section, I hear the unmistakable ree of a Karen mid-scream, okay? I hear, "I cannot believe," and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be juicy. And I turn the corner, and sure enough, a soccer mom is sitting there with her Chanel sunglasses on inside. And if you're wearing sunglasses inside and it's not nighttime, it is no longer swagtastic, okay? Wearing sunglasses at night might give you 18 extra swag points, but if you're wearing sunglasses during the day inside, you just look like a soccer mom. And she is going off on this poor kid standing there in the grocery store. And I actually worked in a grocery store for a couple years when I was younger, from like 16 to 17, and I can tell you, in all honesty, that the amount of people that freak out on you when you have absolutely no power over what they're mad at is insane, alright? I would have soccer moms screaming at me in my face because we got rid of a brand of frozen carrots. And I'm like, ma'am, do you really think I have any control over the brand of frozen carrots we carry? Do you see me? I am mopping the floor for minimum wage, okay? I have no control over what carrots my store is carrying, but thank you for calling me a worthless sack of turds that will never go anywhere with my life. I really appreciate it. You're very a nice person who has a lot going on in their life, but please leave me alone, ma'am. This is a Wendy's. So the second I see this poor kid just getting yelled at, I'm like, oh, I know that feeling, and it's absolutely dreadful, and she's just going off. And as I start to pay more attention to what she's going off about, she says, ahem, "You guys have carried this brand of frozen peas as long as I've shopped here. I've shopped here for 12 years, and you've always had the same brand. So who was the genius that decided to discontinue carrying that brand of peas? Do you understand how many families probably use that brand? It's the only brand that my child can eat because he has gluten allergies." Which, I mean, I don't really know if peas have gluten, okay? I'm not a food expert, but something tells me out of all the peas in this store, because there's like a case of frozen peas, one of them's got to be gluten-free. Like, it's just probably the reality of the situation is at least one of them is gluten-free. But whatever, lady, keep going off. And this poor kid is trying to explain that he has no control over this. And as he's trying to say, "Ma'am, I do not control what frozen peas we carry in the store. I have no control over this at all," she says, "I want you to look at my son and tell him that it's your fault that he won't be eating peas tonight." Which is just the weirdest insult ever, okay? Like, "I'm sorry, son, that you won't have to eat peas?" Man, if I was a kid with a gluten allergy, I'd be like, hell yeah, I don't have to eat peas. Peas suck. Like, that would be my response. But yes, make this 17-year-old kid mopping the floor look at your child and say, "I'm sorry, you can't eat gluten-free peas?" That sounds like the worst, apology of all time. I've gathered you all here today to talk about something very serious and near and dear to my heart, guys. It's come to my attention that we've changed brands of frozen peas, and I know this is a shock. I know this is hard. I don't think that you guys are going to be able to get through this very easily, but I wanted you to know that this lack of frozen peas isn't a distaste or no love for you. It's just that I have no control over the store and we stopped buying the peas. Like, well, okay, I guess I can look your child that I don't know in the eyes and tell him that he won't be able to get his favorite peas. Is that what you want me to do, lady? Fine. So the guy looks over at the kid, and it's at this point I look at the kid and realize something. This is not this kid's first rodeo, all right? You ever seen somebody that, has clearly been through some crap and has seen a lot? I look over, and this kid is literally leaned up against the shopping cart, has his hand on his face, like resting it on his hand, and is just watching his mom go off on this poor kid. And I look at his face, and this is the face of a child who has seen his mom yell at more managers and more workers than, I don't know, something that happens a lot. And then the mom keeps yelling at this worker, "No, go ahead, tell my son that you're the reason he's not gonna be getting his peas." So the worker, who I'm surprised is keeping his cool, looks at the kid and goes, "I'm sorry that we don't have your peas in stock." And the kid, upon hearing this, and the kid, just for an idea, isn't like super young. This kid's probably like 12, 13, old enough to know that his mom is a crazy person, looks at his mom and goes, "Mom, he has no control over the peas. Can you please stop yelling at him? I don't think he's purposely hiding the peas from us. Like, he's not sitting on a mound of frozen peas back there telling you no to make you mad. Obviously, he's just trying to do his job. So can you leave him alone?" And listen, I don't know if you've ever lived with a Karen mother before. I'm sure some of you have. Telling them no as their son when they're telling you to yell at a poor kid who's like just trying to do his job, It's brave, don't get me wrong, but they don't appreciate it very much. Like, Karen moms are the hardest people to please. So as soon as this kid stands up for the worker, I know that it's about to go down, because she looks at her son and goes, "Excuse me, what did you just say to me, young man? Do you think you're funny for disrespecting me in front of all these people in this store? Look at all these people around. Look at all these people around." And she looks, and there's a bunch of people staring, which, you know, you're clearly lacking the self-awareness to know that we're all looking at you being a crazy person. None of us are looking at this going, "Oh my god, this idiot worker doesn't have peas in the back. What a moron." Like, literally none of us are thinking that. So being like, "You're embarrassing me in front of all these people," just isn't true, because basically everybody around you is laughing at you, not at the worker. So she's yelling at her kid, "Do you think it's funny to disrespect me in front of all these people? Like, yeah, you're disrespecting yourself. Trust me, none of us are very hyped to be around you at all. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you look like a crazy person, because you are an absolute crazy person freaking out over frozen peas." Listen, this is just some general life advice, you know, life advice with Scrubby, but you get to control what makes you upset in life, all right? I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, if you're ever in a grocery store and they got no frozen peas and you feel yourself getting upset, you feel yourself getting your pickle tickled by the fact that they don't have your peas in stock, I just want you to take a second, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is frozen peas worth having a freak out about? Is it worth it? Is it really? Like, is it worth it? I would genuinely want to know. Is it worth it? And if the answer is yes, then you're probably just a bad person. But realistically, you kind of do have control over what freaks you out and what makes you panic in life, all right? Like, you can just choose not to have a freak out over frozen peas. It's really not that difficult. But regardless, she's yelling at her kid for being disrespectful, and the kid is just like, "Look, Mom, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. There's plenty of other frozen peas." And he points to the freezer, which is full of other brands of frozen peas, and goes, "And I don't even have a gluten allergy. You just say that you don't like me eating it." And she's like, "You don't understand what allergies you have. You're too young to understand." Which, I mean, okay, I guess he doesn't know what he's allergic to, but you do, you know? He just got a little gassy one time after eating bread, and you were like, "Oh my god, he's got a gluten allergy." But whatever, the kid's obviously not having it, so now she's freaking out on both of them, and she's switching back and forth. One time she's like yelling at the son for being disrespectful, then she's yelling at the worker for making her son be disrespectful. Like, this worker getting paid minimum wage to stand here is purposely trying to brainwash her son into being disrespectful. Like, maybe you're just a crazy person who your son knows is a little bit crazy. So I've been standing here watching this go down for about 3 minutes now, and thankfully the manager of the store pulls up, but Karen just takes this as a challenge for her territory. She sees the manager pull up and immediately starts like demanding an apology, you know, just overall being a butthole. And the manager is kind of like, "What's going on here?" And she's like, "You guys got rid of my frozen peas, and this guy refuses to do anything about it." And the manager kind of looks at the mom and then looks at the worker and goes, "Ma'am, what can he do about it? Like, he's not in control of stocking and shipment. I don't know what you would like him to do about it." And she's like, "Well, he was rude to me when I asked him to do something about it." And the manager's like, "Ma'am, I don't know what you would like him to do. If he said no, it's because he literally can't, like, he can't poof frozen peas into existence. That's just not how it works." Which is true. I don't know if you guys know this, but unless you're Harry Potter, you kind of lack the ability to poof peas into existence. It's not something that you can do. Like, you really don't have the ability to magically poof vegetables out of the air. If you did, you would be rich, because you would be the only person who's selling peas on the planet, all right? And I don't know if at this point Karen's head realized that she was not gonna win this fight because nobody was on her side about the frozen peas. Like, even her own kid was like, "Mom, please calm down. It's not that deep. It's just frozen peas." And the manager didn't have her back, and the worker didn't have her back. So at this point, she's kind of realizing that nobody's on her side. But what does the Karen do? Does she go, maybe I'm being ridiculous, and reevaluate? No, no, no. The Karen, you see, when threatened, does something that only dumb people do, which is doubling down when you're wrong, all right? Sometimes in life, you're just gonna be wrong. You're just not gonna be in the right, and that's okay. That's life sometimes. You're not always gonna be the hero of the story. But apparently this Karen just couldn't live with that, couldn't live with the idea that she was not going to be the belle of the ball and be absolutely correct with everyone taking her side 100% of the time. Because what happens next is just insanity. She goes over to where the frozen peas are in the freezer, starts taking the brands that she doesn't like out, and just starts throwing them all over the floor, saying, "Is this what you want me to buy? Is this what you want me to buy?" Which I don't really know what that proves, because that still doesn't poof your brand back into existence. And also, yes, if you don't have the brand of frozen peas that you normally buy, then in theory, you would just buy another brand of frozen peas. So I'm not really sure what you were trying to prove, okay? But she's throwing peas all over the floor. And the manager at this point is like, ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And she's like, oh, you're gonna kick me out? You're gonna kick me out? Do you have any idea how much money I give this store? And he's like, ma'am, I really don't feel like you are the only person keeping my store in business. And if you're gonna have a freak out and throw product all over the floor, then yes, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave because you're disrupting customers. And she looks around at everybody who's watching and goes, isn't this ridiculous? And all of us are kind of like, quiet. And that's when Grant pipes up, all right? See, I'm not gonna go head to head with the Karen because I've just gotten over that. It's not very fun for me. But Karen met her match because Grant doesn't care, bro. Grant's like, whatever, I don't really care. Like, I'll get arrested. Who even cares, bro? I'm willing to go to prison. I don't mind. And he looks at her and goes, honestly, ma'am, you're disrupting my shopping experience and I would prefer if you left the store. And the look on her face when nobody else spoke up and takes her side is incredible. And she looks at all of us, everybody watching, and goes, you guys have no respect for mothers, which is like a weird insult, all right? Oh, I don't respect moms, so I'm not gonna let you yell at this poor manager who's just trying to go home and eat some breadsticks? Okay, so she leaves the store in a huff, throws her cart like against the freezer, and it's like, I can't believe this place. Let's go, and takes her son and leaves. And as soon as she walks out of there, we all just start laughing because the like ridiculousness of the situation is starting to set in. And it's at this point that the mom who's slinking out of the store is like hysterically sobbing, okay? Like trying to get attention, like, look at how mean the manager is. And we hear her basically yelling out loud in the store, you know, I can't believe people shop here. I will never spend another dime. Look at how they treated me. Like to random people just chilling there trying to buy some bread, bro. Like imagine trying to buy some white bread. You're just trying to go home, make a sandwich, maybe a ham sandwich, maybe not a ham sandwich. I don't really know what type of sandwiches you're into, with some hysterical lady just screaming about how this store was so mean to her. Like it was just a weird experience. But regardless, you know, we're chilling there, billing, styling, profiling, doing our thing. We finish our shopping and we go up to check out and the manager is there and he sees Grant and he goes, hey, I just wanted to say like big thank you for, you know, having our workers back. Obviously, you know, we're used to some people getting out of control, but berating a child because they don't have peas is not the right way to handle things. And Grant's like, well, yeah, I know. And we're talking to the manager and we're like, how often does this happen? How often do you deal with the mom who's just out of control screaming about things? And this man looks at us and he goes, basically every day. Basically every day he has to deal with some mom going insane, freaking out. And what I learned is I need to go be a manager of a grocery store for like a month and then just get enough crazy mom stories to last a year, you know? Like that's just the way that we got to settle things. Seriously though, the manager was super chill, was very appreciative of the fact that we had his workers back, you know? And if you're ever in a situation where someone's going crazy on some poor worker who can't really defend himself because it's their job, you should stand up for them because trust me, they really can't stand up for themselves. Like that kid couldn't go scream at that lady and be like, I don't have control of frozen peas, or he's gonna get fired. So if you're ever in a situation where you see somebody getting yelled at, just help him out, dog. And he actually ended up giving us a 10% discount on all of our food. So shout out to the manager. Okay, big turn up, double dab on the haters. I got to feed me in the squad for cheaper, all because Grant decided to pipe up and just roast a hoe. So 1-800-ROAST-A-HOE is our new line. If you guys want to reach out and call, feel free to. We don't actually have that phone number, so if you call, don't be surprised if a strange Indian man answers and starts telling you that your Windows machine has a virus, you know. I can't be held responsible, but yeah. I just feel bad for that kid too. Like imagine being that kid and your mom was just freaking out in a grocery store and you come home, watch a Scrubby video and realize he's talking about your mom. Like if you're the son of that kid and you're watching this, I am sorry, all right? Your mom went a little bit buck wild and I have to tell this story. It's nothing personal, but I seriously do gotta wonder, like that kid is the right age of my demographic. I might have just accidentally flamed a sub's mom on my Storytime channel. But on that note, guys, be sure to press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe and turn on notifications. Today's notification shout out goes to the always fantastic Connor Quinn. Big shout out to you for having on notifications. If you want a notification shout out, send me a screenshot of your notifications to my Instagram @Scrubby. Follow me on Twitter @Scrubby_69, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'm out. Peace.